Welcome everyone to Art 202, Art Appreciation. My name is Ms. Megan Moore, and I am very excited to be your instructor this semester. This probably won't come as a surprise, but I absolutely love art and art history. I love talking about art, looking at art, and learning about it, as well as architecture from a variety of cultures, styles, and historical periods. And these are the kinds of things you'll be learning about in this class. You're also going to be learning about different approaches to making and interpreting art, and hopefully building your confidence in discussing art by utilizing terms and concepts we'll discuss in this class. I think that there is a tendency to think of art as somewhat inaccessible or too difficult or pretentious to understand. But what I think you'll be pleased to discover is that art does not always have to be this way. By combining the abilities that you already have as viewers and connoisseurs, even of visual culture, by combining that and the content of this course, my hope is that you will be able to finish this class with a new or rejuvenated appreciation for art. This video will introduce you to the content of this course, but also to the course assignments and tasks that will be expected of you throughout the semester. And I highly recommend that you watch the full video because I'm going to offer you an overview of how you can be successful in this class, as well as a general idea of what kinds of things to expect. So what is art appreciation? The course catalog describes this class as an exploration of art forms of the past and present for understanding of purpose, and meaning, and nature of art. Awareness, appreciation, and visual enjoyment of art are stressed. So this term, you will be exploring some of the techniques and methods for creating and examining art, like drawing, printmaking, painting, and sculpture from the 15th century through contemporary art. You'll also be thinking a little bit about art criticism, but you won't be delving into the scholarly literature like you would in a traditional art history course. This is also different from traditional art history in that you won't be writing a big research paper or taking exams where you have to memorize a bunch of dates. But you will be responsible for completing the assigned readings from your textbook, reviewing the lecture material, and doing some independent internet research. And as you engage with this material throughout the semester, I want you to ask yourself, why do we express ourselves through the visual image? Why is it so potent? Why do we so often erect buildings and other architectural structures to look like those from the past? Now, the textbook you'll be using is by Patrick Frank, and it's called Preble's Art Forms, An Introduction to the Visual Arts. It's the 12th edition, and you'll be accessing this book online. It's an e-book. Now, here are your student learning outcomes, or the course objectives for this class. You'll find this table in the syllabus as well. The first column is pretty straightforward, but you might wonder about the second column that's labeled Bloom's Level. It comes from Bloom's taxonomy, which is a teaching device used to describe the level of complexity and specificity of tasks used to assess your abilities to apply each of the listed objectives. In other words, the Bloom's levels are tools for structuring the course curriculum, and they just kind of give you a general idea of the level at which you will be expected to function in this class. You'll notice that the assessment type is the same for each of these. So at the end of the course, you should be able to demonstrate knowledge of terms, styles, iconography, formal elements, and principles of art and design. In other words, you will be learning the language of art and art history. You're going to identify and discuss representative works of art and architecture from different historical periods within a variety of cultural, political, and economic contexts. Some of these representative works will be familiar to you, like works by Leonardo da Vinci or Van Gogh. Others will certainly be completely new to you. You'll be required to describe technical aspects of making art, including the processes and materials used. You will develop an understanding of the purposes and functions of art and architecture in your communities and globally. And you will demonstrate the ability to connect ideas and communicate them through effective and original writing. Now, this is just a quick breakdown of your course schedule and topics. And you'll notice that the topics are broken down by modules rather than by weeks. This is because each module is comprised of about 2 weeks worth of content. So in Module 1, you'll be learning about the functions and purposes of art. In other words, what is art, what is architecture, and how do they fulfill our needs and desires. In Module 2, you'll be looking at the visual elements and concepts of art. These are the elements of design, such as line, shape, and color. Also, the differences in representational and abstract art. Module 3 will cover the principles of design and evaluating art. This is the content that basically prepares you to write a critical analysis of art, and also about the practice of design. Module 4 is all about drawing, the Renaissance, Baroque, and Rococo art. So it's essentially the content that will begin to delve a little more into art history. Module 5 covers photography, late 18th century and 19th century art, and this is where we'll discuss how photography threatened some artists working in the 19th century and kind of gave others a little bit more liberty, as well as how the medium has evolved over time. Module 6 introduces printmaking, graphic design, and modernism, specifically how graphic design is influenced by printmaking, and several of the movements that developed during the era of modernism. Module 7 is about painting and modern art, and in that module we'll discuss some technical aspects of painting, but also how historical events of the 20th century shaped art and architecture. And of course, you'll have to complete your final project by the end of the semester. And I'll say it now and many times following, start on this project early in the semester. Now, how can you be successful in this class? Well, you're already on the right track by watching this video. Watching this video is essentially like attending the first day of class. I'm relaying this basic, vital information about the course, and later I'm going to walk you through the basics of the course on Canvas. So please watch this full video. Plus, there's an extra credit assignment related to this video that you can read more about underneath this video in the Start Here module. Second thing, you're going to want to make a regular habit of checking the announcements section in Canvas. This is where I will post reminders about upcoming assignments or other important news and information related to the course. I'll also be sending out emails with these items. Next, you must read your syllabus. It includes a lot of important information, including departmental policies regarding grading, late work, attendance, and academic honesty and dishonesty. And regarding your attendance, you may wonder how this applies since this is an online course, but completing assignments by their deadlines, and especially completing the Module 1 discussion, introduction, and enrollment verification, that's how I record your attendance. So pay attention to those deadlines. Your syllabus also covers technology. I am not your technological guru, but there are many contacts listed for your troubles should they arise. Communication is another important topic covered in the syllabus. This includes my preferred options for communication, when you can expect grades, and some guidelines for network etiquette since this is an online class. And you'll also find that the course schedule and module checklist and assignment instructions and rubrics will be very helpful. These 2 pages will be instrumental for your success throughout the semester. So, what can you expect in each module? You can expect assigned readings. Mostly these readings will be from your textbook, but there will be some other required reading. There will be a lecture video for each module and the lecture notes assignment that accompanies it. You'll have to complete the discussion introduction and enrollment verification, where you will introduce yourself to me and your classmates and answer the other question prompts listed for the assignment. And you can expect a discussion reading prompt in each module in which you will be required to post your initial response within 5 days after the module start date, and you'll need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates by the module deadline. And you'll also be required to complete 2 written assignments, including a short essay worksheet that is due at the deadline for Module 2, and your final project that will be due during finals week. And I'll talk more about these assignments as I walk you through Canvas. Now, how to be successful in this class, part 2. I mentioned before that you will have a course schedule, module checklist, and assignment instructions and rubric sheet available. I suggest that you print out all of these and use them as checklists. Now, I commend you if you're someone who can keep up with everything on a screen, but I know that sometimes I find it helpful to have a list in my hand. So next, you must pay attention to weekly assignments and deadlines. Module deadlines are at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on the second Tuesday from the date that the module opens. Now, all of these will be listed, these specific dates will be listed in Canvas. So, the Module 1 discussion, introduction, and attendance verification is due earlier than other assignments for financial aid purposes, and that deadline will also be posted in Canvas. The extra credit assignment related to this video is due the first Friday of the semester. Other exceptions relate to holidays and other university breaks, and these deadlines will be posted in Canvas. Now, I talked about the discussion assignments in the last slide, but it merits repeating that there are mid-module deadlines for each discussion reading assignment. What that means is that you need to post your initial response to the discussion prompt within 5 days after the module opening. This is because the nature of a discussion is exchange. So if you all were to wait to post your responses until right before the deadline, there would have been very little exchange between you. A discussion requires participation. So now let's delve into Canvas, and what you'll see here is your home page. You won't see this pink banner when you log in. This only appears when I'm in student view. So you'll notice that there are 2 menus on the left side of the screen here. The red bar is the universal menu that you will see when you click on anything throughout Canvas, and then this menu here is the menu for our class. And as you scroll down, you will notice several links on this page to various resources within the course and other little reminders about checking announcements, a suggestion to work on your final project consistently throughout the semester, and a link to the Start Here module and more. But now we are going to navigate to the syllabus and look over it. You could access that here or from the class menu. If you click on it, the link in the class menu, it will take you to this page where you see that you can access these various parts of the course, and you'll see this course summary here with your assignments and their due dates, or their time. And if you click on syllabus, you'll see a description of the course, and then as you scroll down, you'll see some more information about your textbook, which you will be accessing through the First Day program via VitalSource. If you opt in to the First Day program, which I highly suggest that you do, you will be getting the textbook for a discounted price, and you will be billed for the course materials. And you'll find the link to the book. You'll find the link to the book over here in the class menu. It's this First Day /BNC Materials 2020. And now you have the option to opt out of this First Day program if you choose, but you have to keep in mind that you will be responsible for purchasing the course materials at the opt-out price, which is not a discounted price. And you might have to work outside of Canvas to use your book. So there are several links listed here about how to access the textbook and how to opt out of the program and other troubleshooting links. So again, I highly recommend that you do use the First Day program to get that discounted rate. So I also want to remind you now, this is just a side note, that you should use the Firefox browser to access Canvas. It just works better. Firefox is just more compatible with Canvas and Outlook even. So if you come to me with a connectivity issue, the first thing I'm going to ask you is if you're using Firefox. So just go ahead and download that browser if you don't already have it. So if you scroll down in your syllabus here, you will see some more information about me. You can click on this link to see a little blurb about me. You'll also see my digital office hours are going to be on Wednesdays from 5 to 7:30 p.m. So that means that you can ask me questions at that time and I will get back to you rather quickly. And outside of those digital office hours, you'll see this paragraph here tells you when you can expect a response from me. We've already talked about the student learning outcomes, but they're listed here in your syllabus. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see the grading policy and the definition of grades. Most of you, I expect, to understand this, and if you don't, please inquire sooner rather than later. It's pretty straightforward. If you scroll down, you'll find the attendance and late work policy. We've been over the discussion, introduction, and enrollment verification assignment, though there's a reminder here about that as well. The next point is that late work is not accepted. In order to make up any work, you're going to need a valid documented excuse. Technical difficulties are not an excuse for late work. You do need to have a backup plan. You need to be able to have internet access to do this work. You're in an online class. Your computer breaks down, you need to be able to go to your friend's house or go to a facility where you can access Wi-Fi or a computer of some sort. You must have a backup plan. To be in this class, it's an online class. You have to be prepared. So this section goes into more detail about what you should expect out of the online class format. Here are several links for tech support should you need them. Here's a little bit about software requirements. Again, here's that recommendation to use Firefox. Please read all of these closely, and if you need Microsoft Office 365 on your computer, you can get it for free as a JSU student. So watch this video if you need help with that. There's also this section about the tutoring resources and writing center. Please utilize these resources. They're there to help you. Now, I mentioned the communication policy earlier. Please review it closely if there's any question about how you should contact me, or if you're wondering when you should expect to see your grades. And I also ask that you read through this network etiquette section. It's absolutely essential that you are mindful and respectful about the way that you communicate in this online class, and that you're very clear about the ideas you express, because you can't convey tone in an online forum the same way that you can in person. So here is even more information about what you should do if you have problems with the technology or the course content. Please let me know what's going on, because I'm not going to know that you're having problems unless you tell me. So keep me up to date. Please reach out to the sources that are provided in the syllabus for tech support, and have that backup plan if things go awry. I know that can happen, but computer problems are still not an excuse for lateness. So next up, you will find the disability accommodation statement. If it states that if you need support services, adjustments, or accommodations, that you contact me and Disability Support Services ASAP. And the contact information for DSS is also listed. Below that, you are going to find more detailed information about academic misconduct and plagiarism. Please read this section carefully, because you will receive a failing grade if you plagiarize or participate in any form of academic misconduct. The way to avoid this is to do your own work and cite your sources, and there will be plenty of resources for you to learn how to properly cite your sources. Now, we also have information about students in the military, and the Title IX statement about discrimination. Contact information for both topics are listed should you need it. Now, let's check out the course schedule and the module checklist. You will often see these reminders to be working on your final project, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the assignment instructions. This step-by-step module checklist is very helpful. When you scroll down, you will see a table with the module breakdown in it. So it lists what the module covers, your assigned readings, the related assignments, and this column labeled contact time. You're not held to these time frames. They are simply provided to you to give you kind of a rough idea of how much time you should be spending on each of these assignments. Of course, it's going to vary from person to person, but when you think about scheduling your time for the weeks ahead, these contact times might be helpful for you. And the last column gives you the point value for each of your assignments. And if you scroll to the bottom of this page, you'll see a link back to the syllabus and also a link to the assignment instructions and rubrics. So at the top of this page, you're going to see these general writing guidelines, and as you see here, it says click to expand and read. So let's do that. You'll see a lot of information about how you are expected to write in this class. For instance, you're going to be using the MLA format, or the Modern Language Association format. And if you click on this link, the writing and citation help, you will see this page where you can find guidance for that writing style and other helpful tips. You'll need to click the back button to get back to where we were, and you'd have to click on General Writing Guidelines again. So you'll find this blurb here about the kind of work that you do to get the grade that you receive. And then if you scroll down, you'll find this really important section about when you need to include in-text parenthetical citations and bibliographic citations. And there will be much more about this later. So scroll down a bit further and you will find these links to detailed instructions and rubrics for each kind of assignment that you're going to encounter in this class. So the Module 1 discussion introduction is listed first. And for all of the discussion forums, I recommend that you type out your responses in a Word document first and then copy them into Canvas, because Canvas could possibly time out on you. And I would, it would suck to write out a long, thoughtful response for this assignment or any of the other discussion posts and then lose it because the web page timed out. Also, please proofread your work before submitting to make sure that you are communicating effectively and keeping the etiquette protocol in mind. This discussion post is the one in which you are going to be introducing yourself to me and your classmates. Where are you from? What is your major or your interest? What is your plan for the future? And you're also going to write a paragraph about the function or purpose of art and architecture in your community. You can read the Module 1 lesson introduction or the assigned readings for ideas. This first post doesn't require you to respond to your classmates, but feel free to do so if you like. Now, you're going to find a rubric below that breaks down how points are assigned. Basically, make sure you stay on topic, make sure you cite the text if you reference any material, and make sure your post is long enough. And at the bottom, you'll see reminders about why points might be taken off, and again, links to those MLA formatting resources. And you're going to need the back button to get back to where we were. Now, let's look at the instructions for the regular discussion reading assignments. I've already covered those mid-module deadlines and the required number of responses to other students, but what I haven't mentioned is that you can revise or supplement your initial posts before the module deadline if you so choose. So if a student responds to you and you are inspired to write more or elaborate on a previous point, or if you realize that you forgot something, you may respond to your initial post. So then you'll see these general guidelines. They're pretty much the same as those I just covered. Make sure you stay on topic. Pay attention to item C here. It basically states that you can reflect on content from the lecture, assigned readings, and your real-world experience as long as you frame it in the context of the reading. And you can also pose questions. But you have to state why you're asking these questions and how you might respond to them. Use citations. Now, point D even provides examples of each kind of citation that you may need to utilize depending on the source. Proofread, and then think about the grading criteria provided in the rubric. And consider that these posts count toward a significant chunk of your points for your final grade. They are where I'm really able to see if you're doing the readings and understanding, if you are to apply the concepts from the readings and the lectures. So let's check out this rubric more closely. Responses are on topic, original, and contribute to the quality of the discussion. And make sure you post on time, guys. Next point, you need to make frequent informed references to weekly material using in-text citations. This is absolutely not optional. You have to make at least 2 clear references. You have to respond to 2 of your classmates thoughtfully. You need to respond clearly. And you need to meet the length requirement, which is at least 250 words for the initial post and 100 words combined for your 2 responses. Students, so many of the people that I've had in my classes do not heed this part of the rubric. Make sure your posts are long enough, okay? Now let's move on to lecture notes. I'm going to hit that back button. Alright, to complete the lecture notes assignment, you'll need to do 3 things. First of all, you're going to need to download and utilize the lecture notes template, which I have already opened. Let's look at that really quick. So You're going to have to change the information in the top left corner. Read this paragraph. Follow the instructions. Type your notes here. Don't worry about spelling errors or grammar in these notes. This is not a constructed piece of writing. And then you will need to respond to the prompts that are posted below the lecture videos in the module. Let me go back. Oh, we're not there yet. Excuse me. So you're working in this template. You're going to post your responses here. And you're only required to use information from the lecture here. You do not have to include citations in your lecture notes. But please know that you also cannot respond with a verbatim transcript of the lecture video or from the PowerPoint. You're not allowed to copy what I tell you in lecture, and you're not allowed to copy what you see in the lecture videos. Now, you need to expect that your lecture videos are going to be 1 to 1.5 hours in length. And I'd like to suggest to you to watch them in multiple sittings. Sometimes watching an hour-long or an hour-and-a-half long video can be really draining or boring. And that's not a reflection on the content, but you know, a class in person can be much more engaging than looking at a screen. So might I suggest that you break up your lecture video watching sessions, okay? And then it won't seem so long. And these will be available via YouTube, via a link that I'll be posting in each module. And you can use the English auto-generated captions and transcripts if you wish. So there's a recommendation to complete the readings prior to watching the lecture video, but again, you'll get into a rhythm and figure out what works best for you. Your instructions for lecture notes are also here. You can use the bullet points. You don't have to write incomplete sentences, but the notes have to be legible and clear. They need to be consistent, and your responses need to be thoughtful. So please submit these lecture notes in the assignment Dropbox by the module deadline. You're going to find the rubric. It's pretty simple. Make sure your notes refer to the video content and make sure that they are intelligible and organized. And see the fine print here for why points might be deducted. So now let's move on to the short essay worksheet. That's your first longer writing assignment. To complete this assignment, you will need to complete the readings for Module 2 about the visual elements of art and art concepts, and you'll also need to download this template. And again, I have it open to view. You'll see it has a header that you need to modify with your information. And like the lecture notes, you'll need to write your information here. Read these instructions and then scroll down to find this table. You're going to basically be accessing the Met Museum website to find examples of artwork that meet the criteria for each of the visual elements that are listed here. Here's line, here's shape, here's mass. Each of those are one of the visual elements of art. And then you're going to describe how the listed element of design is illustrated in the artwork you chose. You'll need to include in-text citations here, at least one for each element, and you will also be responsible for including a works cited page. Now, you will find more thorough, I'm getting ahead of myself here. You're going to find a more thorough explanation of the assignment in Canvas, and other links to, or the same link that you saw earlier to the writing and citation help. that will help you figure out when to use quotations or when to paraphrase. And then you're going to see the rubric, as you've seen in all of the other types of assignments. Please note that this assignment is worth 150 points. So please pay close attention to all of the instructions provided. This rubric is more detailed than the others because it's a more in-depth writing assignment. For instance, it describes how you're graded on content, on research, and mechanics. Now, there is an extra credit opportunity with this assignment. Here it is. You can make up to 16 extra points by adding the visual element of texture to the table. And 13 points come from that description and 3 points come from the research. If you follow these instructions carefully, you'll do well. It may seem complex, but really, this activity is designed to be fun. It's an opportunity to look more closely at art that you like and to practice talking about art that you like. So these detailed instructions and the rubric are here as tools for you to help you succeed. So let's get a look at the final project instructions. Your final project is this city tourism brochure. There's no template for this assignment. You're going to be submitting 2 files when the time comes. One will be your brochure and the other will be your works cited page. You can submit a Microsoft Word document or a PDF. So you can also use Microsoft PowerPoint or Publisher, but you have to save those files as a PDF. So here's the skinny of it. You're going to pick a city that you learned about or that you'd like to learn more about, or one that we discuss in class, one that you have interest in, or possibly even the city that you're from. You're going to choose 7 artworks or sites, such as architectural structures in that city, and you're going to use scholarly sources to explain their stylistic and cultural meaning. And you'll also be evaluating the purpose and function of art and architecture in that city. So more detailed instructions, of course, are included here. Please note that you can choose artworks that are not in your book. You just need to be sure that there's scholarly research available on the topic, either via a scholarly website, a government website often fits that description, or scholarly articles or books. Your brochure has to feature a map of your city or region. It has to have visuals for each site and or artwork on the map. You have to create a tagline for your city. And you must include a 100-word introduction to the city's art and culture. And then you have to have 100-word descriptions in paragraph form for each site or artwork. Each of these pieces will need a full identification, including author, title, date, and medium, if it's available, and the specific location where each of your artworks or sites are located within that city. You're going to be applying all that you've learned throughout the semester by using relevant art and architectural ideas and vocabulary to discuss the visual and cultural and historical aspects of the site or artwork. And down here you'll see the research and citation requirements. Again, it looks complex, but it's all laid out very thoroughly so that you will have what you need to be successful. This assignment absolutely has to show evidence of scholarly research. You have to cite at least one scholarly source in the introduction and in each description. Your textbook can be a source. Wikipedia is not an acceptable source. Use Houston Cole Library. And if you aren't able to go there in person, there are several online aspects of the library that you can use, particularly the scholarly databases. And as far as citations are concerned, the information about them is listed extensively in this section here. This rubric again is highly detailed to help guide you through what is expected of you for this lengthier assignment. This project is worth 250 points, so you need to follow this rubric closely. Read over it. So that is a wrap for all of the kind of brief assignment instructions and rubrics. And if you follow them, you're going to be fine. And please note, though, it may make you feel better to know that there are student examples of each of the assignments I went over within the modules, and you'll see them when you go through the modules. I think I've touched on the most important aspects of the course and some Canvas basics. Please feel free to send me your questions sooner rather than later. Talk to each other about these things. Now, I did want to show you what it looks like when you click on modules from the class menu. So notice that this text is black, and that this down here is grayed out, and it's actually inaccessible. I can't click on this yet, and that is because you have to open each module in succession. And what I mean is that each part has to be opened. You have to at least click in each section before the next one will become available. So, and every semester I get students sending me emails asking me why they can't access the course content. It's because they didn't watch this video, and so they don't know that they have to click through each part before they can move on within Canvas. So you can see that I've clicked through everything here in the Start Here module because it's in black. And the reason I can't access Module 1 is because I haven't clicked and completed this syllabus and plagiarism contract. Students, this is absolutely imperative. It does have a point value, and you have to complete it before you can move on to Module 1. It has a lot of excellent information and resources for the use of quotations, how to paraphrase, and using citations. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope this video was helpful to you. Again, I look forward to this semester as your instructor, and I wish you the very best.